Well, Jim, let's move on here with the show. And before we get to Raw and Dynamite, it's become a popular thing whenever these come out, so let's do it for the listeners. The latest Observer star ratings for the AEW Spectacular WrestleDream just outside of Seattle in Tacoma.
Just outside of Seattle and down the road and across the bridge. And I know it's popular with the listeners, but it gets redundant with me because he just does the same thing every time. But maybe it could be different this time because a chink has appeared in the armor, the mirror has cracked, and Dave is even starting to slyly and subtly give Tony some nudges on, well, you ought to be doing this, you ought to be doing that, because this shit's not working. So did he finally break down and give an honest appraisal of any of the matches?
Well, see, there's a difference, though. There's a difference between trying to give Tony Khan tough love and giving a fair appraisal of this generation of wrestlers and what you've convinced yourself is the modern style.
And also their feelings are so easily hurt. So, yeah, he wouldn't want to do that.
Brian Cage defeated Atlantis Jr., the Ring of Honor TV title on the line. 3.5 stars. That was the opening match. Anna Jay defeated Harley Cameron. 8:18.
Just barely, remember?
That's right, 2 stars.
The referee had to put her shoulder down. 2 stars, you're saying?
2 stars. It says nothing here about the pin. I don't know how you leave out that detail. Again, if you're writing details of the match, how do you leave out that detail? The Acclaimed beat the M&M Collection. 11 minutes, 23 seconds. 2.25 stars.
Boy, he's not being real kind on his current scale to the dark matches or the pre-show or whatever they call it.
I don't know if he's ever given an Acclaim match a good star rating.
On the original scale, 2 was about right in the middle.
Here's an interesting description. Tell me if you think this is an accurate description of what we saw.
Okay.
Tony Khan came out with Hiroto Inoki and Antonio Inoki, and did an Antonio Inoki celebration. He wanted everyone to do the Ichi ni Sanda chant. If these people know New Japan, and obviously at a pay-per-view show many do, it's going to be from the AJ Styles era at the earliest. So most did not get this. That's it. That's the entire description.
That's it. Not Tony was out there out of his freaking mind screaming and nobody knew why, and I don't think he realized he was doing it. Nothing about the behavior, nothing about the awkwardness, nothing about potentially needing someone to come and take Tony in for testing.
That's where, when we say that he deals with Tony with kid gloves, there's the perfect example, because he could put whatever gentle criticism months after everyone else came to that conclusion in The Observer.
Tony is not a camera-friendly personality.
But when he doesn't say Tony looked unhinged, Tony looked like he needed a bath, Tony looked like a mess, he was screaming.
Tony looked like he needed a canvas jacket with long arms.
We've heard from multiple people in the room, and I gotta assume that means Dave did as well, that he did not come across well in the room, and that segment died. If you're reading The Observer for details of the pay-per-view, how do you leave out all of that? Jay White defeated Adam Page, 16:29, 4-star match.
Oh, come on!
An exciting, hard-hitting opener.
At a Flair and Steamboat presentation.
Mariah May defeated Willow Nightingale, 10 minutes, 51 seconds. What is that? 3.75 stars.
It was almost as good as the previous match that was better than anything that the WWE has done in 15 years.
Jack Perry pinned Shibata to retain the TNT title in 9 minutes and 16 seconds. 3.25 stars.
Oh, come on now. Seriously?
That was not good, that match. Takeshita won the international title over Will Ospreay and Ricochet, 20 minutes, 41 seconds.
Every single bit of it.
Hold on, I gotta see. 1, 2... I think it's 5.5 stars.
5.5.
The stars are very little, so I'm trying to determine if it's 5 or 6. I think it's 5.5 stars.
Oh, good Lord.
The greatest three-way match in history, I believe he called it here.
Oh, Christ on a cracker. And again, whatever era that you prefer, he's saying that exhibition of aggressive parkour was better than anything that Shawn Michaels or Kurt Angle or Ric Flair or Buddy Rogers or anything that anybody's ever fucking done until about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's just the way things. If Buddy Rogers had done a good shooting star press, maybe you could talk about this. But you can't bring up Buddy Rogers, unfortunately, in a conversation about the greatest workers of all time. No, let me continue on here with the star ratings. Hologram defeated the Beast Mortos 2 out of 3 falls, 16 minutes 44 seconds, 4.25 stars.
Oh, come on now! What? At some points, weren't they just running past each other and waving as they went by?
The crowd was dead early because it's like there were no moves possible that could compare to the prior match. They had to work really hard to get the crowd, but they did. And this was a great match. The next match, Darby Allin defeated Brody King 12 minutes 26 seconds, 4.5 stars. Another excellent match. Jim?
So far, the last 3 matches have been better than Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
The Young Bucks defeated Private Party 15 minutes 50 seconds, 4.5 stars.
Oh, what in the world?
Mark Briscoe defeated Chris Jericho. This was your favorite match, I believe. 15 minutes 20 seconds, 4.25 stars. And finally...
Well, wait a minute now. For the people who haven't heard the clip, I said of all the matches, it was the only one-on-one match where they actually did the right fucking finish and got somebody over, in this case, Mark Briscoe. But it wasn't better than anything that was ever done between the goddamn, giants of the industry. Oh, Christ. All right.
And finally, Jon Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson to win the AEW World title and end Bryan Danielson's full-time career.
And try to commit attempted homicide 3 different times in the course of an overly long 45-minute plus fucking presentation.
With my pals. 26 minutes, 55 seconds, 4.75 stars.
Oh,
See, again, he doesn't rip on the things that are rip-onable, like that Tony Khan segment. It's impossible, even if you're friends with Tony. I've talked to friends of Tony since then. They thought it was cringy and laughed about it. Dave didn't even mention that everyone reacted that way. And then everyone got 4 stars. And listen, anyone who wrestles from 9 o'clock on, you get 4 stars. Everyone else, look, I can't help everyone.
What is he? It kills any credibility that he might try to establish at this point when just everything on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 6 matches were better. What do the kids generally consider the greatest match of the last 20 years?
I don't know how to answer that. A lot of people thought Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. I mean, that was a big one you heard for a very long time. I think Brett and Steve Austin stands the test of time.
Well, that's been 26 or 7 now or whatever. But to point, no.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But still, all of these that are demonstrably, observably incredible matches pale in comparison to these fucking guys doing this shit with furniture over and over again. Because he don't want to hurt their feelings. That's the only explanation, or elsewise, is there some medication that they give to senior citizens or some chemical in hair dye that would just make you love everything, some kind of skin absorbable ecstasy?
Again, I think AEW gets away with a lot of stuff that if it was on WWE TV, they would get killed for, or made fun of at least. But AEW is still the little underdog, and some people are personally invested with the people involved at AEW. And when we say that Dave handles Tony with kid gloves, and then Dave says, I call him out every week in The Observer, I say he says everything we've been saying, and others, it's not just us, for a very long time. A lot of people are late to the dance, pointing out the problems with the booking, with everything. Now you can't avoid it because the crowds are so low and the ratings never came back. But these are all things that were said, and a lot of people avoided. But hey,
we got one email from one of the listeners that was there live that said with that finish to Danielson and Moxley and the whole thing afterwards that the people were just disgruntled enough. The quote was, he may have killed Washington State as a live event market.
Yeah.
And that match got 4 3/4 stars.
See, that's the thing too. There's a difference between heat, and it's like, there's a difference between acting like a heel. And I'm not a wrestler. I'm just someone who saw good shit. There's a difference between acting like a heel and having heat and any of those things actually happening. There are fans who insist that the ending of that pay-per-view, it's good when the heels win. You can't always have the fans go home happy. They were getting heat. There's heat, and then there's reasons people don't want to come back to your show again. People know wrestling's a work. A lot of people thought Moxley's going to probably win the belt. To go out like that goes past heat, that goes to a slap in the face to your audience.
It was we left the house and spent this money and sat here all this time, and that's what they did, heat. And they used to call it disgusting heat, where the people got disgusted, not mad.
Someone, it may have been the email that you have too, because I've gotten a few emails in the last day or so about it. Someone said in one of them that as all this shit was happening and the cameras went off and, everyone's still around ringside all beat up from the vicious neo-Nazi gang or whatever the hell's going on, Justin Roberts like, thank you, Tacoma! Get home safe!
Yeah. Thank you. Pay no attention to the corpses before you. Just drive home safe now. Don't get a ticket.
Hey, is that Jeff Jarrett covered in blood? Come on, buddy, get out of here. Come on, go home. Have a safe ride home. Well, that was AEW WrestleDream.